on. We're recording, so we'll get started in 3, 2, 1. How's it going, everybody? It is Three Guys Wrestling Podcast. We are all three of us are here today, and for those who will be watching on YouTube, we have all webcams, and we're all live here. So I am your host Nate, along with Dan.
What's going on, guys?
And Jordan.
Up, you sexy fucks. Let's go, baby.
Jordan's got his bright Pac-Man shirt on for those who aren't watching the video stream. It looks very, very cute.
That's some good shit.
Yeah, you want to fuck me now?
So, we're recording after definitely the show of the year. Might be the best wrestling pay-per-view in the past, I want to say 5 years at least. I want to say that's bold, but like this show was good. AEW All Out, man. We'll gloss over SmackDown a bit, but the real meat of the plate here is AEW and the show they put on, and I think it exceeded expectations. And for me, who was already a big fan, it blew me out of the water. And for someone like Jordan, who wasn't a big fan, I want to hear how he thinks about it because he wasn't a fan, and I wonder if he's all in now or not.
Yeah, well, first off, that cage match was fucking disgusting. That was nasty, bro.
That was a good match. That was a 5-star match, man. That was a 5-star match.
Probably like I don't even remember. I can't compare anything WWE related to that pay-per-view. It was just so good. It would be offensive to that pay-per-view to compare it to anything. I know Dan didn't see it, but Dan, you have to watch it. It's still worth the $50. It honestly is.
Yeah. I think that's what I'm gonna end up doing anyways. I might just buy it and just watch it over tonight. I did see some of the highlights, and obviously social media and whatnot. Unfortunately, I was the unlucky man out that was stuck working throughout All Out, which I was not a fan of. But as a wrestling fan, and to see kind of all the things that transpired, the events, the matches, the magic that these guys made, it was more than just wrestling. It was art. Like, it was legit. Like, they created a story throughout the match, and you saw them hit every point of the story. And from what I got, every single match was on point. And I think maybe the only thing on there that I kind of saw that might not be like, it wasn't like it was bad, but like nobody really cared about, was probably the Big Show. And
that was the closest thing. That was the closest thing to a WWE show as possible.
But I'd take that over WWE having 5 or 4 bad matches segments and one decent one. You know what I'm saying?
So the couple points. One thing, that Big Show match was as you expected it, and it wasn't bad. It was just a Big Show match, 50 years old. So the other thing is, interesting stat came up. So rematches on TV, right? Someone counted up all rematches that WWE did and matches that AEW did. For like rematches between two guys for a whole year. WWE had 160 rematches in 1 year. AEW, 16. So even
this is going off of 2020.
This is 2021.
Okay. Oh, so just up to this point. So that's
Just
okay.
1 year,
Gotcha.
1 calendar year.
Okay.
So all these matches that happened, they're fresh, and the only one the closest thing that wasn't fresh is the Young Bucks and the Lucha Brothers. Last time they wrestled though was 2019.
Well, and MGF and Chris Jericho, they just wrestled too, but they still put on a spectacular show. Yeah.
So we're gonna go through some of the highlights for All Out for me and Jordan and Dan. If you whatever you saw, well, the big thing I kind of want to address the elephant in the room was the ending, just because I want to get that out of the way because that's the biggest thing. Omega versus Christian was a great match. I think Christian finally got his chance to be a main event for like the biggest show of the year, and he actually did a good job. I think for his age, he put out all the stops he could do, and it was a great match. But
I think out of all like the older wrestlers, Christian might have been, I would say, the most polished. He's like a fine wine. Like I just watched him on Impact and watched him beforehand, some of his matches beforehand recently. I mean, I didn't see the match last night personally, but I could tell that, Christian, when I say he's like a fine wine, that man has gotten better with age. Like his promos, the way he works in the ring, like he's great for the wrestling business, and I'm happy that he's back doing it.
It was great. But the focus was on the match, honestly, which is just crazy because the match was great. Was after the match, Omega beats down Christian, Lucha Brothers come in, try to make the save, they get beat down, and then out comes. So most people thought there's gonna be a surprise at the end, which is gonna be either one of these two people. First comes out Adam Cole, fresh off his ending of his contract, comes out, And what could be a surprise, shocking turn, but really isn't just based on how he is. He joins the elite. I mean, like it was crazy because the fans loved it.
Even I expected that. I don't watch AEW weekly, so.
But yeah, so everyone thought this was the end of the show because Kenny Omega was doing his goodbye and goodnight. Then all of a sudden, you hear the Flight of the Valhalla, Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson debuts right after Adam Cole and lays waste to the elite, setting up a feud with Omega. And just, I think this has to be like the biggest get for AEW or for any wrestling company since WCW days. Like this was like a moment where it was like AEW was established here. Not only they got Punk, I mean, but Bryan was their top face for at least 2 years. He was their top face.
He was
main
just
event of Mania.
Yeah.
And he main event Did he main event one night with Reigns too?
Yeah.
So two-time Mania main eventer, one of the biggest faces of all time in WWE, crosses over, and like, you know, people can shit on like having all these WWE guys, but most of these guys were not always in WWE. These guys, a lot of guys were in the Indies and other promotions. And for Bryan to come here, and for Punk to come here, and for Adam Cole to come here, you gotta know that this is the hottest wrestling out there, and the fans loved it. It was such a great ending. It was as good of an ending as you can get because not only you had a good match, a good result, a good booking, and great surprises. WWE in the reverse would have you have Omega beat up Christian and end the show, and that's how they would do it. That's how they would do it, or have Adam Cole come out and beat them up, and that's it, and just leave the fans like what the fuck. So couple of things I want to go through. We just went over the Young Bucks match. Great match. Definitely, that was match of the night. That was such a brutal match, and I had no idea who was going to win. I mean, I had a feeling that the Lucha Bros are going to win, but with the stuff, the tax, man, and Penta, like, sacrificing himself for his brother. So, I don't know if you saw it, Dan. So, they took a Nike shoe, glued it with thumbtacks, the Young Bucks. And so they're about to kick Phoenix, which is one of the Lucha Bros, the smaller one. Penta dives in front of his brother to take the hit so his younger brother wouldn't get super kicked with thumbtacks. It was a great moment. Everyone was bleeding. Like, it looked like
I saw a dope sequence with the Young Bucks. They highlighted on, I think I saw it on Twitter when they were in the cage, and he was just going back and forth over the ring, like dropping them, like hopping, like doing springboards off the top rope. It was ridiculous. Just in that 15 seconds that I saw of that clip, I was like, man, like that's mesmerizing. Like that's like wrestling. Like,
yeah, it was fantastic, and there's no debate about it. It was the match of the night, and I think, Jordan, even if you don't like the Young Bucks for their style, the brutality of that match had to make you like them a little bit, because they knew how to get that crowd going, and they knew how to make a great match. Because you got to want to root for Lucha Bros by the end of the match. You wanted them to win, like, so bad, because they're fighting hard. Everything the Young Bucks gave them, they clawed back. It was just a great match, and you have to give the Young Bucks credit for that match.
Yeah, I do. I never not good wrestlers. They're great wrestlers. They're corny as hell. Like, they try too hard to be the typical professional wrestler, and they just turn it into them being corny the entire time.
It was fantastic. And
but last night,
so another one I want to go over too is the other big debut, Ruby Soho and the Casino Women's Battle Royal. That the fans went nuts for her. She said that was the only time she heard a pop like that in her career. They were singing the song with her. They loved it, and she won the Battle Royal, so she's going to go against Britt Baker. It was great. It was a fantastic setup, and I think if they use her right, she could be a big star in AEW, which they never used her for. She has a good look. She's an interesting look, and you can't deny that. It's kind of a cross between, I want to say, like Ripley and like an AJ Lee kind of deal, kind of like the like punk chick kind of shit. But the fans loved her.
But can she?
Was that?
Can she wrestle?
Yeah, of course.
What do you mean, of course? What's her best match?
What?
What is her best match?
Her best match? I'm trying to think. I mean, they didn't really give her much of a chance, but she did a lot of good stuff in NXT. Even some of the Riot Squad, like 6-man tag, she's always the best worker in the match. Like, she was always a good worker. It is that she never had the chance to really be a lead lead like wrestler. It was always like she was kind of either stuck in a tag team in WWE or just like.
I mean, I never really watched too much of her, so I knew she was a
saw right
surprise. A lot
there.
of people enjoyed her, but for me, it's like I don't know too much about her, so I'm not gonna comment on her and say like, oh, I'm excited for her. Oh, I'm not. I'm hoping that this is a good opportunity for her. I've heard good things. I've heard people don't care. But obviously, NXT, they have their top dog, and that's Britt Baker. It's very clear it's Britt Baker, and Britt Baker's here to stay for a while. I don't know how long. So Ruby's they're probably gonna tear the house down, but early prediction, Ruby's not gonna win it. I don't think Ruby's gonna be the one to take the title. I think they'll put on a good match. I have seen some stuff with Ruby tag team. Obviously, I think she was at Mania this past year with I believe she was tag team with Liv Morgan, if I'm not mistaken.
Mhm.
They're in that tag team. Was it a Turmoil or just a tornado? Not tornado, but just multiple tag teams in it for the women's tag team championship.
Something.
So I do remember that. She didn't look bad. She sold really well. She looked fluid in the ring. But AEW was a lot of surprises, and it was great surprises. It was great to see them integrated. Like some of them, like you knew they were coming, you just didn't know when. Like Daniel Bryan, they moved up specifically for it All Out. Like they moved him up. He wasn't supposed to debut there. Adam Cole, even though everybody was like, yeah, he's gonna go to AEW, and most likely that was going to happen regardless, no matter what. But I didn't think it was gonna happen this soon. I didn't think it was gonna happen at All Out.
They knew they had something planned. I think the belief was that
I thought Daniel Bryan was their big thing planned because I heard reports all week that they're moving him up to debut at All Out, especially with Punk debuting his match.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure we'll touch on later. I did get to watch some of that. But they AEW did a good job, I think, with the matches, the segments, the stories. They had the right surprises, the right guys. They put them in the right places to succeed in storylines. So hopefully Ruby follows through and ends up being a decent storyline for her going forward.
Is in the Battle Royal last night when she was wrestling. I forget who was last.
Thunder Rosa.
No, not last.
Thunder Rosa was last. Yeah,
I think it was. But she was just very like awkward in the ring. Like she just doesn't look fluent. She looks like she's still learning, and
that
It's
last
also
spot was
jitters
good.
too, and also jitters too, because I'm sure she knew her name was getting called. Like this was her moment to shine, and stuff like that. So you're that's a loud crowd. It wasn't like a little gymnasium
They were nuts.
pack.
It was nuclear.
It was a nuts crowd. I'm sure she had her nerves were on high because it's her first match since I think
No one's
around
popped for her
WrestleMania
like that
time,
either.
so.
No one's ever went crazy for her like they did at All Out. So even with then, like the final spot with her and Thunder on the apron, that was a great spot. You were on the edge of your feet, like edge of your seat, like who was gonna fall off the ring. Like it was a great spot. Like they did it perfect. I mean, and Thunder Rosa is an amazing worker, so she could have helped take the lead a little bit for Ruby, but I think she did her part pretty well, and she got the fans. She kept the fans behind her still. That's an important thing too. Was once they had her, she kept pulling them in. Like they were like she kept keeping them with her. So I think she did her job. We'll see a Dynamite because she's gonna be there. How she does, I'm sure she's gonna wrestle or do something. So we'll see how she goes then. The most important thing afterwards is how she gets booked after she appears, because she could look great and then look like shit later on. She could lose to fucking anyone. She could lose to fucking Abaddon, the zombie girl. But
all I'm gonna say is I'm excited about her AEW until she actually has a good match. Because until then, I'm impressed.
But Baker, speaking of women, and Chris Statlander had a great match too. I think Chris Statlander is gonna be the future of that division. She looks great. She's an amazing worker for how little experience she has. She has that strong intensity with her, so I think that'll be great. Now we're gonna cover every match, but we just say every match is great. Even the opener for the pre-show was a good match. But the last one I want to talk about, and I'm sure Jordan wants to talk about mainly, is CM Punk's first match back. And I'll let you take the lead on this because this is your moment. I bet you're crying, you're coming, you're shitting, you're doing everything, and you're going through everything.
Did you see how nice his ass looked in those pants? Oh my God!
No more tights. He's wearing the pants now.
He's wearing the pants. Ass looks great. He looks great.
He looked big.
Dressed
He
great.
bulked up. He definitely bulked up for the show because I thought he'd be skinnier. I was worried that he looked like old, like Ring of Honor CM Punk, but no, he looked big.
Yeah, he looked good. No, no
Oh, total homo for you, I bet.
maybe a little bit.
The only thing I want to say before you take off, the match started out really slow, but I think it was just that Punk was feeling out like what he could do at first because he hasn't wrestled in 7 years. It was his first time in front of in a match, so I'm sure he was just kind of feeling out. And one thing is that people noticed is that they did a lot of spots that were copied off a match between X-Pac and Bret Hart like 20 years ago. Like spot for spot, a lot of the moves, like when Allen flipped Punk and Punk was sitting there like shaking his head, it was ripped straight from Bret Hart and X-Pac. If you look it up, it's on Twitter. It was crazy how like it was all like they follow that match to a T, and that's not necessarily a bad thing because that match is so long ago and people don't remember it. I'm surprised anyone actually noticed it, but it was a good match, and Allen looked great, and I'm sure in Jordan's eyes, Punk looked amazing. I mean, he looked a little bit tired by the end, but he still like was there.
You can definitely tell he had some ring rust. You can definitely tell that. But other than that, like he looked like he definitely belongs in a wrestling ring rather than a UFC on.
Oh, for sure.
Or on a backstage panel. That was stupid.
Yeah, he needed to be back, and I think that match showed how much the fans love him and how much he could put on, even if it was a slower like paced match. I think the match was still good enough, and he heated up at the end to get fans really in. Because when I first started watching, I was like, "Oh, they're kind of going really slow." I thought they were a little more worried about Punk's ability, but once like they started doing the quick reversals, and then when Punk threw Allen through to the turnbuckle, but Allen slid through the ropes out to the outside, I was like, "This match about to pick up," and it did. And the way Punk tried to hit the GTS or he did, he was like, "Oh shit." He got out of the ring. It was a great story, and Allen looked great. He looked like
the last GTS to end the match was so quick and sudden. Yeah. It was like I didn't even think of that happening, but the way they did,
it made Darby look like a real fight. Like sometimes in a real fight or whatever it may be, or a real sport, sometimes those quick things happen. You can't prepare yourself for it, or it doesn't dare to be. Punk will be saying they're going like this. Like hit him one time, like 8 times, and do it, and then Darby looks like he can't do anything. Like, it looked like he was gonna counter it, GTS pin, and he looked great. Like both guys looked amazing after the match. Punk looked great, like he still got it. Darby Allin looked like he could hang with the big dogs, and it was overall like a great match for everybody.
Yeah, and I think the ending. I was kind of pissed because my Xbox shut off just as Sting was coming out because it was inactive for like 3 hours.
Yep.
But that was when Chris Benoit came out, right?
Yeah, Benoit came out, challenged Punk, and then he made him tap.
Sorry, I got a call.
But yeah, it was Benoit being up there. That was probably the big surprise of the night. You should have saw me. I was going crazy when Benoit came out.
Yeah. And then it came out. Yeah, that was insane.
It was such a great show, all because of Benoit. He is all elite.
So theory is wrong. Benoit did not kill his family because if he killed his family in prison and he was just there last.
Yeah, he's actually behind Dan right now.
Benoit's he's all elite at one thing, and that's murdering his family. That's
allegedly.
Allegedly, the proof's in the pudding, guys. Proofs that'll be for another conspiracy theory episode that we'll probably run at some point.
There's literally no pudding here, none. So there's no proof.
There's chocolate pudding. Yeah.
Where?
You want some?
Were you there? Were you there?
Here you go. Yeah. Open up your mouth, Jordan. Here comes the airplane.
Were you at the Benoit household?
Open it up.
The day that happened?
Open it up.
No, it was Dan. I don't think he was.
Nate, you weren't there either.
I can't say either way.
It's called forensic evidence for a reason.
Yeah, but they ended that investigation a little too early. So there's some questions, kind of like 9/11.
End the investigation a little early.
There's some dispute.
I think you should do some research, Nate.
I think you should do some research because I've done all the research I can.
The research is literally out there.
This sounds like a lot of fake news to me.
He killed his family, not knowingly. I think he killed his family because he literally had a brain of an 80-year-old Alzheimer patient.
I honestly, Dan, I know you're a big Chris Benoit fan because of your background, but
Pretty boring. A little quick, but solid match. What do you guys think? You guys heard that, right?
No.
No.
What'd you say?
Jon Moxley versus Satoshi Kojima.
Oh, that was a great match.
That was not great match.
No, if you like New Japan style, you like that match.
Moxley kind of whooped his ass for like 10 minutes and then it was over.
That's one of those other matches too, like the main event. That it was more about the afterwards rather than the match, where Minoru Suzuki comes out and challenges Moxley. That was fucking sick. So he's like an MMA fighter / wrestler in Japan. Like he's like known as a really, really badass guy. Like he'll like knock people out or shit like that. He's like really, really badass. Like think of him as kind of like a Brock Lesnar, I guess, but not like the same size, but like same like MMA background, I guess. So like when he shows up, when he shows up to a fight, he's means business, I guess. But yeah, and they've been having beef for a year now, but with COVID, I don't think they've had a chance to fight yet. So it's crazy that they're doing it this Wednesday too. That's gonna be a great match. It's gonna be an ugly, brutal match. And I like how Moxley is no longer like at the forefront, but like he's doing all these fantasy matches. Like they're using him the right way. Because honestly, he had his time being the top guy in AEW. Now he's being kind of used for all these crazy like dream matches, and like he's still like a relevant guy. It's just that it gives him a time to be with his family and also like get fans still invested in him also while having good matches. I think it's a great spot for Moxley, honestly. It's kind of like a Taker kind of deal, like where Taker would never necessarily be always at the top, but he would do all these crazy different rivalries and matches, kind of like that.
Well, Taker didn't need to be at the top. It's like
exactly.
You already know. You already knew like the type of talent he was, and it's good and bad, I guess. I wish he should have gotten more title runs. I feel like world title runs, but they didn't. He didn't need it. Like his character and his work in the ring was so like larger than life that like it just wasn't like same thing with Moxley. Like he's just is such a great work in the ring. He's great on the mic. He's great all around. He everybody wants to work with him. He wants to work with a lot of high talent guys, and he meshed well with a lot of all different types of guys in the ring. Yeah. It's not like he's just one dimensional. Like he can go in the ring with almost anybody. And I again, like you just said, and that's why he doesn't need to be at the top or at the forefront or have a world title to be relevant or to steal a show or anything like that. He could steal a show at any notice, regardless of where he's at on the card. He could be opening, and he could steal the show. Like that's just the type of talent he is.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, should we even go over SmackDown just after what happened yesterday?
Honestly, I feel like it. If you
Balor
want to,
Reigns is champ.
Balor lost. We could touch like the main point. Balor lost. They're setting up for the Demon Balor,
and he's gonna lose again. So
they're setting up the Demon Balor at Extreme Rules, which I think will be a much better match.
And he'll
most likely he's gonna lose. Yeah, but
100%. He's the Demon's undefeated, and he's gonna lose.
Dude, he sucks, dude.
What?
AEW,
dude. AEW.
Yeah. Finally, no more Roman Reigns. It's all about fucking
whoa.
QT Marshall.
Whoa. Well, watch your time. You might enjoy little AEW and whatnot. They're having a better product than WWE, but nobody's better than Tribal Chief. Nobody's better than Tribal Chief.
No, definitely
not. So I guess fuck WWE. We'll come.
Fuck AEW because Roman Reigns literally stacked Bryan with a bitch at WrestleMania, and now he's WWE's top guy.
He kicked him out. I expect a Roman Reigns promo where he mentions or name drops Daniel Bryan about how he beat him so bad he had to kick him to another company. Honestly, with how edgy that Roman Reigns' promos have been, I wouldn't be surprised him mentioning that.
The thing is, they probably won't, because how Bryan's trying to be as like cordial as possible, because he was like not bash him and all. He's like, oh, he won't even use the yes chance. because he doesn't want to like infringe on anything on him. So
He's
I
a
think,
That's fine, but they're not infringing because he goes by Brian Danielson.
but
not Daniel Bryan.
I'm saying that with how nice Brian is being to them and being as respectful, I doubt they're gonna let Roman say anything like that, just because how like he's.
I think
John Laurinaitis is his father-in-law.
I think if Roman has a decent relationship with Daniel Bryan and you talk to him like, hey, I'm gonna try and catch some more heat. I'm gonna name drop you. I think that if that was a conversation, if they had that conversation, it would happen 9 times out of 10.
But in reality, with Roman Reigns' name drop, it's not gonna do anything for him in the long run. It's not gonna do anything for him.
Beat Roman Reigns on Raw years ago. Are we gonna forget about that?
That was Roman Reigns before he became the tribal chief.
So does that mean CM Punk is the big dog?
He is the big dog.
CM Punk's always been the big
CM
dog.
Punk beat all 3 of them at once at like a pay-per-view, didn't he?
Sounds about right.
With a staph infection in his back where he
And
shit his pants.
yeah, I think he shit himself that night too.
He legit shit his pants against
And beat
Dean
him.
Ambrose.
So how is
Yeah.
it how like so? I
Or
bet
John Moxley, but
CM Punk would beat Roman Reigns with shit in his pants right now. I guarantee it.
I don't know. Now I don't know about now. The tribal chief's a much different animal than Roman Reigns. You know what I'm saying? 2 different animals.
All right, so Jordan, who would you pick? CM Punk or Roman Reigns right now? Match.
It's Monday. I'm not doing it. You're not gonna do this to me.
I respect you, Jordan.
To put CM Punk up against the big dog.
It's gonna be no contest. It's gonna be no contest. They're gonna beat each other to a pulp, and they're not gonna be able to finish. That's my opinion. I don't think there's gonna be a winner.
That's ridiculous.
No comment.
All right. Well, I guess we can kind of do like a little roundup of what we like. So, with this being said, we're kind of gone through all out what's going on with wrestling right now. So, what's coming down the pike, I'll just go over real quick. Now that we're gonna do YouTube, this is our first YouTube stream, as well as our regular podcast. Let us know because we have some ideas. Like maybe we could do some gameplays, or some like wrestling games or stuff like that. If
Not a sponsor.
So if you guys like that idea, we'll do it. I know we talked about that. We're still trying to get our schedules working out between all of us.
Monday, Monster Truck Rally. You'll pay for the seat, but you'll only need the edge.
Where did Dan go? Why is
Chris Benoit?
Chris Benoit? Is that you?
Hey, Benoit's back, guys. Hopefully not to murder another family.
Allegedly.
What do you mean another family?
So let's get through the
roundup.
yeah.
I guess we can agree that even though the WWE is just not doing so great, that SmackDown's still the better product. This upcoming SmackDown, I'd like to kind of touch up.
SmackDown infuriates me more than Raw does. Raw's boring, but SmackDown infuriates me.
SmackDown, I'd like to kind of touch up just what's upcoming. I think Rollins and Edge SmackDown.
It's at the Garden,
I think
right?
it's gonna be
It's at the Garden, right?
Yep, at the Garden. I think it's gonna be a solid match. Brock Lesnar's gonna be coming back to SmackDown too. Is he gonna cut a promo on his own? I'm kind of excited to see what he says. There, I don't really recall too much going on after that they're promoting, but I do know those are the 2 main things going on for SmackDown. So I'll probably be watching more for that. Happy Corbin gimmick is obviously shaping up. It looks like he's getting into a program with Kevin Owens and Logan Paul. Don't know what Logan Paul is going to be doing, how involved or whatever have it, but I think Baron Corbin.
Like, why is Logan? Here's the thing. Right?
I have no idea.
They couldn't pay Bray Wyatt's salary, but I'm sure Logan Paul is demanding a large amount of money. It's the same fucking shit TNA did.
Oh.
They would have fucking Jenna Maraska from Survivor give her or JWoww almost $500,000, but can't pay their wrestlers an actual wage. Like,
Yeah.
It doesn't make like.
Well, you heard about them cutting catering? Like, superstars have to buy from the arena, or either they pay to get the food for the arena, or they have to buy food from the arena. They don't do catering anymore.
Are you serious?
I literally just saw that come out. I think the Wrestling Observer, Dave Meltzer, I believe, he released that they cut catering, like budget cuts to catering.
So they could afford these large pyros, these large arenas. Fucking Logan Paul, this $billion company with the best TV rights deals in wrestling history.
And they're pissing off the TV executives because they keep promoting Peacock on Fox, and then they're promoting Fox on Peacock, and now USA is upset because Becky Lynch is gone, and then Brock Lesnar is gone off their program, and there's just a lot going. And WWE is just not. I honestly, as bad as it sounds, everybody says Vince always comes out on top, this and that, but like,
well, he's trying to sell the company.
This is WWE is going down. It is going, and the more heat and the more the AEW picks, it's not like WCW. AEW is not like WCW at all.
No, I'm saying WWE is like WCW. They're doing all the things that they beat WCW because of.
Yeah.
And they're so in their own heads. They're so like up their own asses that they don't realize what they're doing because they think, oh, we'll survive. Oh, my God, we got this, we got that. WCW did the same thing. Like I said, for all you guys out there, and you guys should read this book too, The Death of WCW. It accurately, you can see the parallels between what WCW did 20 years ago to what WWE is doing now. Because they think they're too big to fail. And as much as WWE will limp around for a long time, like they have the money and they have the resources to limp around. But
they don't want to change. That's the thing.
As long as they stay the way they are, it will never be a good promotion again. And they just keep making it worse and worse and worse. And all they had to do was an Adam Cole fucking stream. If they let Adam Cole stream on Twitch, he probably would have stayed. If they actually gave, because apparently they said CM Punk was interested in going to WWE.
He had an interview, and I actually watched and read
and they played games. They played games,
and he was like, "No, like I'm not doing it." Like that back in 2020. That he was really interested in doing an interview. Like he's doing the backstage with Christian and whatnot back in 19. I think it was. I think it ended in 2020. I can't remember, but
like
that was to kind of warm him up to WWE, warm him up to a return and whatnot. And they're dicking him around.
And they bungled it.
And they say they're Daniel Bryan. Like people were surprised. Wrestlers were surprised. Companies were surprised that WWE let Adam Cole and Daniel Bryan both go.
It's because they're so far up there on us. They will do with Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar. They'll sell gangbusters. And yes, Peacock looks good now because it's not only is it $10 a month, but Peacock has a lot of other things besides WWE. So people will buy Peacock for The Office or shit, and might like wrestling too.
Like me personally, I buy it for The Office, for Sunday Night Football, and then I have it for wrestling as well.
The numbers at AEW when the pay-per-view numbers come out, it's gonna be startling to see how well those numbers are because it's people paying $50 a month, $50 for a show.
Wait a minute, Sunday on Peacock?
Yeah, because it's NBC. So any Sunday Night Football you can watch it on Peacock. Just
don't worry about that. The Jets won't be on there.
By the way, guys, not a sponsor, but Paramount Plus 2 is CBS, so you can watch S games on too.
Yeah, some of them though. I think it's only local games.
Yeah, your local CBS like football games, but just so you guys are aware. Yeah.
But
I don't. But yeah, no. I don't know, man. It's gonna be interesting. I think next. I would say 3 years. I would give it that arc.
I'm curious.
I feel bad, guys.
Tonight.
I feel bad for guys like Triple H and like Shawn Michaels, coaches and whatnot, guys who know what's best for the wrestling industry, and they kind of have to sit back and again, Triple H is not perfect. I obviously hear stories about Triple H, how he treated some of the talent when he first started, Punk issues with that, but I think he's redeemed himself since taking over NXT, and he's put on great programs, and he's coached those guys, and he created NXT, and NXT was probably the best thing coming out of WWE for the last few years, and now
I'm calling it now.
That's in question.
Sorry to interrupt, but WWE's big counter to All Out is going to be tonight. The first segment is going to be Eva Marie. I'm calling it. It's going to be something like that. Like they're gonna people are like, oh, AEW's gonna do something big to counter it. They're gonna do Eva Marie versus Dewdrop or like something fucking so dumb, because only they will do that. Because like they think, oh well, they're not competition, won't do anything. Then people go like this, click, that's it.
Yeah.
Like they're already losing numbers, and AEW.
I'm not even gonna lie to you. I stopped watching Raw. I mean, I watch more SmackDown than I do Raw because, like I said, for me personally, I felt like SmackDown's still a better product. I know you said it's more infuriating to you mainly because of your views on Roman and all that stuff. But
the booking in general.
For me, it's a
SmackDown.
better product is on SmackDown than it is for Raw. And Raw, I can't stomach watching it. It literally, I get so bored. The only thing I'd really watch it for would literally be Randy Orton and Matt Riddle. That is honestly it. I would watch a 5-minute segment for them and then I'm done. Like they can't utilize any of that. They got talent on the roster. It's not like they don't have talent. They just don't use it.
But I think this is a good time to start wrapping up because we all
Yeah.
have a fantasy football draft to do in a few minutes.
Yep.
And I just looked at the notifications for our members. We just filled up to 10
Sweet.
already. So
Awesome. Let's rock and roll.
We'll be on
Looking at-
YouTube.
Right here, though, the fantasy champions right here, taking Zach Wilson #1 overall.
No, you're not.
MVP.
No, you're not.
MVP. I'm saying it. He is-
No, you're not.
Real,
What do you mean?
real,
I just said it.
First pick
real
is gonna be
Kings
me.
moving silent. Real Kings move in silence.
Yeah, so we're on YouTube now. We're gonna upload this on YouTube at Three Guys in a Wrestling Podcast. We'll be on Anchor, Spotify, Apple Podcasts as usual, and Google Podcasts. So follow us on there on Twitter at Three Guys Wrestling as well as Instagram, and we have a Patreon at Three Guys Wrestling Podcast. So if you guys want to support us, help us make some more bonus content for you guys, and improve our setup some more because our setups are kind of still shitty right now because we're still pretty new at this. Please feel free to help us out. And that's it, guys. You guys anything else you want to say?
Jordan, you want to go first?
I have nothing to say, Daniel. Up to you.
Just great. Like I said, great for everything I heard about AEW. Great show. Hopefully we'll see WWE program, see how they bounce back from this. Vince McMahon was called out a lot on social media, so he probably doesn't even look at it. Maybe his PR rep does. But again, guys, we do appreciate the support. The more support, the better. Let us know what you guys like, what you guys want, what you want to see, what you don't want to see. We are here to cater to you guys. We want to talk wrestling and cater to our fans. So give us some feedback,
Yeah, I definitely think we'll be doing more AEW content more than WWE for
We have to for our sanity.
future.
So not even just that. I just feel like it's just a better product. And honestly, I'd rather talk about good wrestling product on a wrestling podcast than not. I mean, we're called Three Guys in Wrestling Podcast, not Three Guys in the WWE podcast. So
All right, guys. So thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you guys again soon. See ya.
later, guys.